What's up, guys? This is Dusty Neal, and
I'm DeepThink.
we are back again for our 8th episode. Golly, so many things to talk about today.
Yeah.
So many things. There's so many things. No, I'm kidding.
Now, if we can only think of what those things are.
We could probably, I don't know, talk about something that everybody's talking about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm kind of rooting for him, honestly. And you probably know what I'm talking about, the Mike Tyson fight.
Oh,
Yeah. So they have recently changed the Mike Tyson fight from an expedition to record for record fight. It's a real fight this time. I know I mentioned this in my other show. I think it was like my second show or third show. But I always thought it was a real fight in the very beginning, but it ended up being an expedition. So you were right, DeepThink. I was wrong.
How was I right?
Because you said it was an expedition. And
Oh.
I go, no, it's not an expedition. It's a real fight.
I don't
was
recall.
wrong.
That was so long ago.
I know. You know me. I remember everything.
Yeah. Got an excellent memory.
So I almost did it again. I almost make my mouth kind of click, like I always do. I try not to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But so Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. They're going for real. But I recently saw their video of them at a meeting for, whatever it's called, where they meet each other for the first time. And I got to say, it was like a father and son meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, they walked up to each other, tried to stare each other down, and they both laughed in front of the camera. I mean, really. And then they gave fist bumps and they walked away all smiley and stuff. And I was like, oh, God, really? Is this really going to be a real fight?
Right.
Is this going to be pound for pound? Is Mike Tyson just talking a lot of doo-doo? Or is he for real? I got to say this because I know you don't really talk about fights. That's why I'll do all the talking on this. So
Yeah, I don't really follow fights. So,
so Mike Tyson, dude, I've been texting you on Instagram and telling you need to go after this guy, and you need to go for your legacy, because Jake Paul, he's a really good fighter. I give it to him, and he's trained really hard. But Jake, you can't just jump up into the fighting thing. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight you, but you can't just jump up and be on the top immediately. You cut so many corners to get into this boxing thing. It's incredible. And other boxers, they think you kind of cheated your way in, honestly. But that's just my opinion, and that's what I've heard. So don't hit me. But
he's coming for you now.
Yeah, I care for you both, by the way, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. But I really want Mike Tyson to win. I really do. Because I think Mike Tyson, even though he's been through his turmoils and fights and his stuff that he's been through, I mean, he has been a true fighter since he was 13 years old. He dreamt it. He did it. He worked hard. He did the routines. He did the training. He did everything possible to get up there and show his way up to the top, to be a heavyweight champion. And Jake, dude, you did YouTube videos and you made it up, and then you started fighting old fighters, and you started getting popular by winning over old guys. I mean, you fought a few people that were in your rank, but all the rest of them were all just old and had to knock off the cobwebs just to start and fight you, and I don't think that was fair. And it was all expedition. Well, not all expedition fights, but anywho, let's talk about Mike Tyson for a second. So, Mike Tyson's been through his turmoils. He's also been through a lot of, I'd say, hard times in his life. And he's explained. I mean, I don't want to say personal things about Mike Tyson. I care for him. But he struggled a lot through life, and he has tried his best to become the person that he is today, which I'm very proud of what Mike Tyson is today. He has worked his butt off. He has done his time. He has realized his wisdom, and now he's willing to teach it to other boxers and also be a good Samaritan. Samaritan. I'm starting my engine. So today, I think we should talk about, people growing up and people going through depression and people going through hard times. And we actually, I did it again. We actually have a guest coming up. His name is Tyler. And he would like to tell his story, and we'll see where the show goes from there. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's give Tyler a call and see what's up. Here we go. Tyler,
Hello.
what's up, man? How you doing today?
Hi, Tyler.
Good, man. How are you?
Well, we want to welcome you on the Dusty Nail and
DeepThink show.
DeepThink show. So, how is
Good
it
to be
going?
on here.
Yes, we're glad to have you on here. So, yeah, you have an incredible story that we would love to hear, and also, I'm pretty sure other people would love to hear it too. So, I don't know, how should we start this, Tyler?
I don't know. Where do I start?
How about start from the very beginning? What led you into all the things you're about to discuss?
Okay. So my mom and my dad, they did some things, and then I was born. Is that too far back?
Oh, you mean
That's-
they
That's
did
a little too far back
they
there.
did the bumpy
Tyler.
bumpy, and then they had little baby Tyler, and then he played, and then he slobbered and ate his snot like little kids do, and then
Yeah.
and then he grew up a little bit more, and then he laughed at the poo poo and the TT and the farts, and then he got past that, and then he went up to the 12 and 14, and he played games, he rode bikes, and then okay.
I can tell you one thing, though. I never ate my booger.
That's good.
Ugh. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's how kids get
Yeah.
sick, because they eat their boogers and then they just
Right. They eat their friends' burgers.
they eat their friends' boogers. There's one thing my dad always used to say is your friends can pick you. You can pick your friends, but you can't pick.
But you can't
You
pick
can
your
pick
friend's
your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it was something funny. My dad, he's in heaven. He would be laughing right now. But so let's start from when you think it all began.
Okay. So I've been engaged 3 times.
Yeah.
And all 3 times they fell through. And that's what one of the topics that you wanted to touch on. Actually, a lot of them.
Yeah, relationships.
Insecurities, depression, loneliness, purpose in life.
Yes.
I've learned how to be self-sufficient and not rely on other people. And
How did
I
you learn
still
that?
trust people.
How did you learn that?
Trial
What was the process of that?
Trial and error.
Elaborate.
There's some people that come into your life and you learn how to trust them. And then there's other people that you trust and they run off on you.
They break your heart.
Yep.
So what happened?
And
Go ahead.
And you learn how to decipher who's who.
How's that?
It goes from everywhere from body language to how they talk to you, whether it's good or bad.
So you went through a really hard time in this relationship, and what else was involved with this relationship? Like kids or anything?
Yes, I adopted my ex's child from her previous relationship.
Yeah.
And then we had a kid together. So now I consider I have 2 kids.
Yeah, you
and I
took
love
over the
both of
fatherhood.
them. Yeah, I love them both equally.
That's very nice of you, by the way. That's a good man.
Well, the day that he told me I was his dad, I didn't even think about it until that point. And when he called me dad, it was, okay, that's the role I'm playing.
Yeah. How about when your own son called you dad?
Oh, I already knew I was dad. When
You already knew.
when my second son was born. He's 3 now. But that's one of the most amazing experiences.
So what happened after that? What caused the breakup, and then where did you go from there?
Me and their mom did not get along anymore, and we split.
And then what happened next?
We were very cordial with everything that was going on, us being split. But I explained to her they need both mom and dad.
Well, of course, that's what
important.
Children do need mom and dad. Yes.
Yeah, because my dad ran out on me. My mom's dad ran out on her. My grandma's dad ran out on her. And I was trying to break that cycle. And now she's telling me that I can't see the kids.
So you were telling me about something that was personal that you had conflicted onto yourself, and then slowly but surely got past that. Tell us that story.
Which part?
Everything. Everything, because the more the better, because our listeners, they want to hear this kind of story, because I'm sure there's other people out there that have been through similar situations, and maybe we can help them today, like you've helped yourself and become a really good, strong man again from the whole situation. So tell us everything.
Yeah, okay. So when we were living together, I got really bad into alcohol, and it hit hard. Hard enough to a point where on my birthday, my now ex-fiance, the mother of our children, she would buy me shots for my birthday and put it in a basket with a bow and everything. And looking back on that, it was just very enabling.
She promoted your drinking, but you just she didn't really put the alcohol in your mouth, but you made the decision to drink the alcohol, of course, right?
Right. Yeah. I could have said no.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't want to point any fingers.
No, I'm not pointing fingers at all. I've gotten way past that point.
Yes, that's where I want to lead up to with the show. I want to see how far you've gotten, because it's awesome, the ending.
Yeah,
it's not the end, but the rest of the story to where you are at the present time right now. And DeepThink, go ahead and ask any questions you'd like to ask. By the way.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So you said you've had three wives now?
3 fiancés.
Fiancés. So you've never actually gotten married then?
No.
Okay. And are you currently with the last one, or is that ended as well?
No, that's ended.
Okay. And how many kids total do you have? Was it just the 2 in the beginning, or?
I have the one biological son and the one that I emotionally adopted.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I personally have a man who I consider to be my father, who's my mom's second husband. Not my biological father, but I consider this man to be my father. So yeah, I know how that is, definitely.
Well, and that's one of the last times I talked to my kids. just a couple of weeks ago. He was like, "When do I get to come see you?"
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, "That's up to your mom."
Yeah.
Because he's not my biological son, so I can't fight for him for custody.
Right.
And he was like, "I miss you."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I miss you too, dude."
Yeah.
So this is basically a story that still on with that at that part has an ongoing still kind of situation.
If
Yeah.
you don't mind me asking, how old are your kids?
They're 8 and 3.
Okay.
My biological son is 3,
Mhm.
and the one that I emotionally adopted is 8 now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So so Tyler, what led you to the next part and why you got the tattoo on the side of your head?
So we lived in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Greeley, Colorado. And I helped my ex-fiance move out, drove the U-Haul for her, helped her pack, helped her unpack. And then when I went back to the house and a quarter of the stuff was gone because she only took what she wanted, I was sitting on my bed, kidless.
Were you
And I
under
didn't
the
want to
influence
do
of alcohol at all?
No, not at that point.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
just
because
didn't want to do it anymore.
You've completely stopped drinking now, but we're talking about the past,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
Well,
what happened after that?
So I was sitting on my bed and I couldn't hear the kids laughing. I couldn't tuck them in. And I put a gun to my head. I didn't want to do it anymore.
It sucks, man. And I
But
know
as
that
soon as I
that was
started
hard
pulling-
to say. Go ahead.
But as soon as I started pulling that trigger, I saw my kids' faces.
Yeah.
And I realized that would have been so selfish to take myself away from them.
So what were your choices after that? Did the gun actually go off, or did you stop right there?
It was a hammer fire. So the hammer was halfway cocked.
Yeah. So it went off.
And once I heard that click,
yeah.
it would have been about 1 more pound of pressure before
gotcha.
that bullet came out of that chamber.
Well, that is a really hard situation to be in. So what did you do from there, Tyler? What did you decide with your life after that?
I called my kids the next morning and we started going to church.
Nice. What else did you do? Like, what were your avenues of jobs, things you started to be a part of?
I got a new job.
Yes.
I got a new job that it was delivering oxygen.
Nice. So you found helping others would it made you feel a lot better about yourself.
He helped me breathe. Yep, he helped me breathe. So I felt like I had to help other people breathe.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes life can be really difficult for a lot of people. You know,
yeah,
we go through our hard times and our turmoils, and we always feel that it's the end of the world, and it really is not. It is not the end of the world. It is
absolutely.
Anything can always be handled in any situation that you're in. You just have to find the strength to be able to look at it differently and go, you know what?
Yeah.
I got a lot of
And
life.
once you hit that low,
Yeah,
the only way is up.
exactly. That rock bottom low, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts. It does. What about you, DeepThink? I know it's hardcore, isn't it?
Yeah. I was wondering if there was anything in particular that you thought when you were in that situation that kept you from following through.
It was my kids.
Mm-hmm. Just
Like I said, that would have been totally selfish to remove myself from their life.
mm-hmm.
And that would be my legacy, is Dad killed himself.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
Yeah. It's definitely good to think about the people who care about you in
Yes.
situations like that.
And know that you have friends that will back you. You know you have family that are there for you. You know there's always a lot more friends that you'll make in the future with your life. There'll always be more opportunities. There'll always be other avenues, and the sun will shine brighter.
Yeah.
It definitely...
it was about 6 months.
Go ahead.
It was about 6 months later that I told my brother, my little brother, we have a 10-year age gap. I'm 34, he's 24.
Yeah.
It was about 6 months later that I told him that almost happened, and he bawled.
Oh, man.
And he was like, "Why didn't you talk to me?" And I was like, when you get to that point.
Yeah. I almost got into tears you telling me the story right now. So,
What were you about to say there? You said when you get to that point. What was that?
When you get to that point, you feel like there's nobody there to help you. It's over. Just be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked, not too long after that, after I recovered from it. I have a really good friend. I'm not going to mention her name, but she called me, and she was about ready to commit suicide.
oh, man.
And being there, I was able to walk her off that ledge. And then her mother got a hold of me the next day and said thank you. And I didn't even know who her mother was.
Yeah. That's a really awesome thing you did there.
Yes. Especially after what you went through yourself. So,
well, when you
takes a
live
lot
it,
of
you know
strength.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, we move on. We regrow. We breathe through it. We find
Absolutely.
strength. We find strength in ourselves that we never knew that we had. So,
I've started fasting.
Mm-hmm.
I've fasted 3 times now. I've dropped 45 pounds.
Yeah,
of fat.
That's got to make you feel better, right?
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I do yoga every night and pray.
Hey,
while I'm doing yoga.
Yoga works. I mean, look
man.
at Clint Eastwood. He's 90. Was he 96? 95? How old is he?
It really does work, man.
96. I think he's 92. Actually, sorry, Clint Eastwood. I called you really a lot older, but yeah. So
I've gotten my little brother, the one that I was telling you that cried. I got him into yoga. I've got my mother into yoga. We'll do yoga together.
Have you figured out all the hard yoga moves?
Oh yeah.
Was the ultimate move where you put your leg over your head and put your arm in front of you with the leg straightened?
I haven't gotten that far.
Put your head slightly tilted at an angle, and you're bouncing on one big toe.
Yeah, I'm not. I do yoga, but I'm not that flexible.
Oh yeah. Wow, what an incredible story. So, what have you found now in the present? What do you do now, other than delivering oxygen to older people, and helping others with their issues. What else have you inspire us, Tyler? I want to hear the other good things that you've also done.
On my off time, the Bible that I got from my baptism.
Yeah.
I call it Jesus Roulette.
Jesus Roulette. How does that work?
You just open up the Bible to a random page. Don't look at what you're pointing at until your finger lands, and then read the scripture.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I myself am a very godly man. So that's why I got a tattoo on my arm. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. It says love, faith, and hope. Love, faith, and hope. That's what I believe in. It's everything I live by every single day. So yeah, I've been through some times too, Tyler. We've had some. You ever been through some really hard times? Do you think like that? Didn't you go through something kind of similar about, you had some social problems where you couldn't communicate
that mainly stemmed from my childhood. Basically, kids can be mean, and like I was a very emotional child back then, so it was very easy for kids to pick on me. And it just sort of turned into a whole thing where I was let's see, there was this one time I went to this farm and they had all these chickens, and there was this one chicken that had a red neck with no feathers on it, right? And I'm like, what is up with that chicken? And they're like, oh, that's the pecking chicken. That's the chicken that all the other chickens peck at. And they put the red stuff on his neck to keep the other chickens to keep from pecking on it. I'm like, I can relate.
Oh, man.
That sucks.
You want to hug DeepThink?
No, I'm fine.
Do you want to hug Tyler?
I'm
giving you both a hug, one through the telephone and one right here. Yes.
Here's a virtual hug.
Yeah, but that definitely got really, really rough for me, and I actually did contemplate jumping off a bridge at one point when I was about 6, I think. And basically the thing that kept me from jumping off that bridge was the thought that this is just a part of my life, and a very short one. And
a short part, not a short life.
Right.
But yeah. I had to make sure I corrected that part. A short part.
Watch how you word it.
When I'll grow older and things will change, and I'm not always going to be picked on and abused like that. And as long as you're alive, there's always a possibility for things to change, for the future to turn into something really good.
That is true. Every day.
I've watched it.
Yep. Every day and every hour is a moment and a time to change something that needs to change in your life.
And if you're not actively working on changing it, it won't change.
No, it won't change by itself. Yeah, we were talking about that on the other show on fear, about stepping that foot into the darkness, into the unknown, and moving forward with faith.
Amen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wow. Were you ever picked on, Tyler, when you were a kid? Or you seem like a tough guy.
Oh, dude, I was such an awkward kid when I was a little kid.
Really? Tell me about what were you, we already went through your mommy and daddy made you and stuff earlier when we started the conversation. But
I was super scrawny.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got into junior high.
Yeah.
And I finally started filling out. and me and my friends, we would we had a hill that we would hide behind on our lunch break, and we would box.
Oh, you would like scrap or like spar, or, whatever
Yeah,
it's called.
yeah, we would beat the snot out of each other.
Like literally.
And one day,
were you raised in the country or
Yeah.
something?
no, it was Fort Collins, Colorado.
You hear that, Fort Collins people? Wow. It doesn't only happen in country. Well, I guess Fort Collins is kind of a country town. I guess.
Yeah, Colorado's a
mountainous
glorified. Yeah,
I mean, I could
Colorado's a glorified desert.
I could expect like I don't know, Oklahoma. People doing that out in the small towns. There's because there's nothing to do but beat up each other. I guess I don't know because when I was younger, I used to get beat up. I'm telling you, I used to get beat up a lot. I got picked on. God, I'm itchy for some reason. I used to get beat up and picked on a lot. I mean, I got picked on so much. I mean, my story would. I don't know. I'm not comparing stories here, guys, but it was.
Oh no, I want to hear your story.
It was crazy.
Go on.
Let's see. Well, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I was overly picked on.
I've got like 10 stories in my head right now, so
I had
understand
10
that.
people picking on me at one time because I was a little skinny little kid. But I was always like the happy kid and real excited and everything else. But I guess that irritated the poop out of everybody. Me smiling and being happy all the time. What's up? And I was always a good friend. Even though they picked on me, I still stayed their friend. No matter what. I didn't care. It was attention.
Right.
And that's another thing. I when I was younger, I didn't really get I got attention until my parents got a divorce, but and I love my mom, I love my dad, now, but it was hard. It was hard as a child. So I didn't get a lot of attention because mom was at work all the time, dad was doing his thing, and I was kind of on my own all the time. So I thrived for attention everywhere. Can you tell that I do that deep thing?
Maybe just a little bit. Just the tiniest little bit.
I'm just joking. But I got picked on all the time. I got picked on so much that I used to make a game out of it. There was one time, and I know my buddies, if they're watching this, one time I came up to them all, and I was in a neighborhood, and I said, all right, guys, I'll make you a deal. And I was I'm a truthful, honest guy when it comes to this stuff. I'm a man of my word. I don't try to cheat around things to kind of, confuse anybody. If I make a deal with somebody, it's a true deal, and I'll take the punishment. Trust me. So I told all my friends, I said, all right, guys, I'm going to hide in this general area within these 5 houses right here in this right around this one of my really good friends' house. There's 5 or 6 houses. I'm going to hide, and I'm going to hide and stay there. And if you guys can find me, you guys can beat the living tar out of me if you want. I'm serious. I made that deal.
Oh, wow.
And you know what I did? I told them all close their eyes. I ran in back of the house of my friend's house that I was at. I didn't even run to the other houses. Ran in back, got in his backyard, and stuck myself in a bush. And then they started searching for me. And they kept just running by the bush. Running by the bush.
I could see him go by.
I'm laughing, and I'm sitting there in the bush, just watching them go back and forth. Where's he at? They even talked in front of the bush. They didn't even see me. I'm sitting right in the bush, within like 2 feet from them. I mean, just as bad. It's about as bad as my dad's hunting.
Yeah.
Shooting real close. Oh, it was the scope. The scope was off, even though he's 5 feet away. But misses the shot, which I'm not a hunter. I don't kill animals, but they searched for me they searched for me forever. It started to get dark, and I'm sitting in the bush for 2 hours going, man, this is easy.
Right.
I'm cramping up.
Boring, right?
Yeah, I gotta get moving here. So
must have really wanted to beat a kid up.
So yeah, they at the very end, one of my friends did find me. It's because I came out of the bush. I got tired of waiting there. And I let him find me. And then he chased me on top of a roof. And I said, don't beat me up. He ended up not beating me up, but I swung a branch at him a few times to keep him away.
Get out of here. Shoo.
But I made it through, and I know my buddies watching. You know, those guys that I grew up with, they picked on me throughout my elementary and all the way up in middle school. So they came over to a club that I was going at. All of them did. They were all grouped together. And it was so funny because they all came over at the club, and they all came up to the bar. I think I was 21 or 22 years old. They all came up to the bar. They knew I was there, and they all grouped over, and they came over, and every one of them apologized to me for picking on me. It meant a lot to me. It really did. At the time, I was like, oh, it's okay. I appreciate it. No big deal. But now that I think about it, you know, that took a bunch of men right there to actually do that, to realize they were wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and then what's that? Yes.
That does take a lot. And the older you get and you're watching the people that you did stupid things with grow up and have kids and make families, and
it's an incredible thing.
And find a good way. It's unexplainable.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm still friends with those guys to this day. So they're still my good friends. Yeah, I try not to let what happened in the past be a prison for my future.
Yeah, no, because you were young, dumb, and
but it is rough these days with kids. It really is. It's really, really rough with kids growing up these days. You got a lot different struggles these days. You got kids with their cell phones. You got stuff that they're seeing at an early age. You got kids smoking at a young age. I just saw that today. I was on Facebook, and they were some post about a long time ago. Oh, they used to have a smoking area in my school when I was younger. And I go, I think they still do have smoking areas and everything else. And they go, yeah. And then this one girl had texted me back and said, yeah, middle school people have to bring their vapes. And I went, middle school? They go, yeah, they're starting young these days. I was like, oh my God. I was like, wow.
I'm guilty of that too, though, because me and my friends, before we would go box, we would hide behind King Supers in Fort Collins and smoke, and then go behind the hill and beat the snot out of each other.
Well, there's got to be a better way to teach kids not to do that, and maybe wait until they're 18 or 20.
I can tell you what my mom did.
What did your mom do?
Oh, let's hear this.
When I was like maybe 10 years old, she's like, "Hey kids, you want to know what it's like to smoke?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Oh God, I can see where this is going.
It's like, all right, go out into the park there and grab some leaves. Go get some dry leaves. So me and my sister went out and we grabbed some dry leaves, and she's like, "All right, crumple them up really small." We crumpled them up, and she got like a paper plate and rolled them up in the paper plate. She's like, lit the end of it. She's like, "Here, smoke it."
Oh my God.
And we're just like,
what is this podcast turned into?
Yeah. You were scarred for life saying that is horrible.
Never started smoking after that.
Whoa.
It was a beneficial experience in that regard, but oh man.
Well, the smoking thing, is probably going to be a difficult thing to change, but I mean, because you can't put a restriction on it immediately. There has to be a way to be able to promote something that soon enough within the next 20 years will lead the kids in the right direction. So, everybody always thinks of a fast fix, and things are not going to be a fast fix. Just like what you went through, Tyler, with your stuff, with your kids and what happened with you with your gun and everything. And it takes time to heal from that. And what DeepThink went through with getting picked on and everything else. It takes time, a long time, sometimes 15, 20 years to get over stuff stuff like that. I mean, even me, it took me forever to get over stuff, but it took a process. It took a process of things happening and getting more and more wisdom how to handle things the proper way and how to get myself through those things. But the kids thing,
you can't learn how to do it right until you've done it wrong.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of a way to kind of push the kiddos in the right direction to not smoke at all. And I'm talking everything, weed, smoke, because it's gotten bad these days. And but you can't just say, hey, you're going to stop and that's it. No, we've got to have a process to where it's a slow process to where it leads them up to getting to there. And then maybe as they realize, at a younger age, then the next set of kids will realize at a more younger age. And then the next, just generation after generation. And pretty soon, the kids aren't smoking like that anymore. It's just not a thing. It's gross to them, or it's just not popular, and that's not the right thing to do. It's unhealthy. I mean, the world.
I think that's the main thing: is it popular or is it not popular?
Yeah, it's not popular.
Because kids will do pretty much anything in order to be socially accepted.
Yeah, put the fear of God in them.
But the sad thing is, the food that we're eating, the air that we're breathing, the water that we're drinking.
It's everything. I know.
It causes just as much cancer as if you were to smoke.
Well,
so kids nowadays, they're going.
The food. Well, the food thing is actually. I think that's what DeepThink. Let me let you say it.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think that you
don't think so?
No, our water is fine. Well, depending on where you're at, our food is fine.
Yeah,
as long as you eat healthy and exercise.
Saying in every country.
It's not as it used to be unhealthy a long time ago, but the stuff they're putting in with who's the people that check on the foods? What's those people?
The FDA.
FDA. Okay, so the FDA has gotten more and more strict on what they are allowed to put in food and everything else. So our food these days, honestly, this is where I have to beg to differ with you, Tyler, is a lot better than what it was. Cigarettes, cigarettes, they haven't gotten better at all. They're just the same as they were in the 40s.
Oh man. Oh well.
At least at least the cigarettes are filtered now.
The vaping has gotten a bit better in that it doesn't give you like.
Hang on a second, Tyler. Hang on one second.
The lung stuff anymore. Like before, they had like some kind of a thing in the vaping that would cause you to have like bronchitis, I think it was. And that was terrible.
Yeah, my daughter was doing the vaping, and I was telling her, "Hon, you should stop the whole thing." And she now has asthma real badly, and she has to use an inhaler, and she doesn't do that anymore at all. And it was caused from that, the vaping and everything else. So
have you guys ever had heard of popcorn lung?
Popcorn lung?
No.
Do you go pop, 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 pop? Hey, I got the popcorn this time for our movie. What do you want to watch?
Wait. Actually caused. It's actually caused.
I got a whole bowl of popcorn. But go ahead.
It's actually caused by vape, and basically what it does is it makes your lungs look like a honeycomb.
Ooh. That can't be good.
That just makes me cringe even thinking about it. That's why, honestly, America, if we're ever going to be a big influence to ourselves and to other countries, we need to just stop smoking altogether.
Yeah.
That's just the way we need to do it. A lot of people are like, oh, shut up, Dusty.
Right.
You don't know what you're talking about, but... Sorry, did I elaborate?
While they have a cigarette in their fingers. Yeah.
I'm just joking.
As long as America remains a free country, you're going to get people who do, unhealthy things.
Well, you could be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and just puff on a cigar every once in a while,
Right.
I mean, look at George Burns.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I just smoked a cigar the other day. You're making me feel really guilty.
Oh my God. Well, let's get on another subject. So yeah.
What you mentioned before about these things that you notice in people on who to trust and who not to trust. Do you mind elaborating on that?
Who to trust and not to trust. You were talking about that, Tyler. You learned on who to trust and not to trust. Elaborate on that is what DeepThink said.
Where I was going with that is the older you get, the more you see the direction that somebody's going in and the things that they say. And you're able to personally deliberate on if that's someone who you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
And where does that lead next?
There's people that I'll walk into a room and I'll see them and I'll sit down next to them in the morning at work and nobody's sitting around them. And it makes me curious.
What do you do in that situation?
I go and I sit down next to them. And I talk to them.
People
and they end up being a really good person.
You hear that, guys? That's what good people get treated like these days.
They were the black sheep. And I'm drawn to the black sheep.
Well, they're probably the ones that want to make a difference, but no one wants to listen to them, and they all just kind of separate from them because, well,
exactly.
Like I've always said, society tries to win over everything. Society puts you in a box. Society makes you feel bad. Society makes you feel insecure. I mean, you really truly do it to yourself. You make yourself insecure because you let society bring you down when you should be.
If you don't fit in, if you don't twerk, if you don't show too much skin, you get pushed to the corner.
That is so sad.
I search for those people in the corner.
Yeah.
Right. I think that it's also important to do that because sometimes, those people in the corner just don't feel like they can, join in, right? And all they need is somebody to show them they're welcome. And it's an excellent thing to do.
Yes.
If you can't find a good person in the world, be one.
Exactly. Be the change. I'm telling you, Tyler, we need a lot of people like us in this world right now helping lead the other people that, I mean, they'll get on to us and say that we're wrong and everything else, but then years will go by and they'll come back to us. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this. What? They'll say, "You were right. I was wrong.
I don't care. Persecute me."
Yeah.
But I did my legacy. What I did the best I could.
Yes, and that's all that counts. That comes to failure. You don't truly fail. You actually learn a lot during that time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we need more people to be like what you're doing, Tyler. Sit by those people in the corner. Sit by them and speak to them and give them the attention that they deserve. Because at that point, society has put them, down so much they feel like they don't belong. And that's what I do too. I do the same thing.
They isolate themselves.
Yeah,
and then they isolate themselves.
Yeah, and then they end up making some really bad choices because they feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy that I worked with. It was during a morning meeting, and he was doing that. He was the first 3 days that I saw him sitting over by himself after I started the job. He showed up, and the third day he had an Egg McMuffin sitting to my right. And I was sitting there opening my Egg McMuffin. And he sat down where he normally sits, where the Egg McMuffin is. And he was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "That's yours." And we had an amazing conversation together while we ate breakfast together. And he told me, "Nobody ever talks to me. Thank you."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Don't thank me. Thank him."
Yes. Thank the Lord.
I think you should also thank you.
Yes.
What you did was really cool.
Yes, it is. Yes. See, in society, we need to be like that towards each other. We need to help each other out. We need to be the stronger person and lead people out of the darkness when it comes to hurt and pain and loneliness, and make sure they don't get to the point where people get where they have a loaded gun to their head. Make sure that they're well loved. Yes. Make sure they're not made fun of so much that they don't want to associate with society anymore. They just want to be by themselves and have that lonely Egg McMuffin like you were talking about that guy was having. You know, or me. You know, I took a different route, I got to say, Tyler. When I got picked on a whole bunch, I started searching for the answers. I started wondering why people would do that to me. Why would my parents be like that? What makes relationships break up and get back together? What makes friends really true friends? What makes life turn around and be great or unhappy? So I went on that journey with my part, and I went on that journey since I was, I guess, 17 years old. And I just started searching for all the answers. And then in the meanwhile, I've sat with so many people. I've talked with all kinds of people. I mean, I've talked to bums on the streets, to people that were drug addicts, to people that have horrible, disabilities. And I've sat there and I've gave them the love and the care that they needed to, as I talked to them and helped them and moved on to my next person, I helped that person believe in themselves again. So that's the kind of thing I went for. That's what I've done all my life. So that's what I do now. Right. It's really hard to find a person like DeepThink, and it's really hard to find a person like Tyler. Guys, we've got to change. And like you guys said, sometimes if the change is not happening and no one wants to dip that foot in the water, be willing to be the first one to dip that foot in the water. And don't be scared.
Dude, you're going to make me cry.
Well, I'm only trying to speak the truth, Tyler.
I know.
Just go ahead.
I've done so many bad things in my life.
They're all forgiven,
and now,
Tyler.
I know. And now that I'm I guess you could say rocketing forward.
You're doing great.
When I hear that compliment, I really take it to heart.
There's one thing my good friend that was my kind of fitness instructor, side fitness instructor, she didn't really give me, she'd always say to me, and I'm going to say this to you guys right now, you got this. Mm-hmm. You got this.
No,
Tyler.
No,
You got this.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
You're wrong about what? This. Oh, we got this. I was like, where is he going with this one?
You're wrong. We don't have
You're wrong. No.
We don't know what we're doing.
No. It's over.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Get out. Do it. Do it now.
It's not a tumor.
I think that you're basically taking on a leadership role.
Yes.
Which
we need more leaders in this world right now.
Absolutely. Taking the first steps in one, you figure out like what's off, what's not right currently, and two, you take action and you rectify the situation by directly engaging, by like sitting by the guy who's like alone or something like that. Basically, what I think is that you really need to uh, step outside of yourself and stop thinking about how everything is affecting you personally in order to be able to take on a wider sort of worldly view, I guess I would call it, where
Instead of having your blinders on.
Yeah, it allows you to think, okay, I like am an important part of this situation, but there's other parts to it that are also important. If I can bring this all together so everything is kosher and everything is working well, so like I am able to take care of myself, but not only that, I'm able to take care of the people around me and make sure everyone is, having a good time and everything is, driving well.
Because we need to take care of each other. Because we are separated so much in America these days.
DeepThink.
We're very, very separated. And we need to look out for each other. And like we talked out in the last show about when I started saying, women need to carry like mace and this and that. And DeepThink was right.
DeepThink.
We don't need to point the women like it's the women's fault and they need to do more. No.
I think
we need to have the men look out for the women.
I think I have something to say.
Go ahead.
DeepThink.
Yeah.
You're smarter than your mask looks.
You can't even see my mouth.
All right, guys, we got about 2 more minutes, so we're gonna wrap this up. So what have we learned today, guys? All 3 of us. Tyler, DeepThink. I'll let you guys end the show.
I think that it's important to care about the people around you and also remember that you are cared for. And yeah, I don't know. I can't do it like you do it, Dusty. You have like the roll to it. I love that.
The roll.
Yeah.
So just take care of each other around you and always look out for each other like brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
Instead of looking at it, judging everybody who's around you. Go, you know what? Maybe that person needs some help. Instead of going, oh, he looks weird. Well, maybe he's kind of vacated from society and doesn't want to be like anybody. Maybe you should get to know him. Maybe you'll learn something from that person. Be willing to.
And a very important thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is be hot.
Be hot?
Be what?
Hot.
What do you mean by that?
HOT.
Hot. Explain.
Honest, open, and transparent.
Ah.
Nice.
That is pretty hot.
Yeah, that is. All right. Thank you, Tyler, for coming on to our show today. We really appreciate your time with us. We are going to end the show. And I am DeepThink.
And I'm Dusty Neal.
I'm just joking. I'm Dusty Neal, and
I'm DeepThink.
And this is Tyler on the line. We'll see you guys next time, and hopefully you guys learned something from our show today. Be kind to each other. Love each other. We all need each other.
Absolutely.
We need to work as a team. Bye for now.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you too. See you later.